Hey everyone, Effie here. Today's video is something a little different. I'm going to do a plan with me video. I'm going to do some stamping in my classic vertical layout happy planner. I'll be stamping for next week, the week of January 27th to February 2nd. You can see that there are some really white spaces in some of the boxes, and that's because I had to cover up some of the boxes with some sticker labels because I had done some practice stamping that I wasn't really happy with, so I covered up the boxes with some sticker labels and I'll start from scratch. Before I begin stamping for next week, I wanted to show you this week's spread because I had posted this stamp spread in a Happy Planner Facebook group and it actually got some really great reviews and feedback, so I wanted to show you guys. For the florals, I use our abstract peony stamps and then some foliage stamps from our Rose Wonderland print set. So let's get started on next week's spread. Let's take the sheets out of the planner and get to stamping. This is just some of that label paper that I was talking about earlier. And I'm just going to punch some boxes or rectangles with my classic size Happy Planner punch. And there are some boxes that I've already covered up on the middle portion, but there are a couple boxes that weren't covered with label paper because I hadn't pre-stamped on to those areas before. So I just want to cover up that entire middle portion because I'm going to be doing some stamping, and when you're using dye ink, you want to make sure that you have another layer over your planner page because the dye ink will seep into the paper and you'll get ghosting on the back. Next, I'm going to mask off the areas outside that middle portion of my spread, and I'm just using some scrap paper with some temporary adhesive. Next, I'm going to take this large leaf cluster stamp from our Rose Wonderland print set. I'm going to place it onto an acrylic block, and then I'm going to ink it up with some of our bright emerald dye ink. But before I actually do any stamping, I put a piece of craft foam behind my paper because it's going to help me get a better stamped impression with this larger size stamp. So I've inked my stamp up with some of our bright emerald dye ink, and you can see there are some kind of spotty areas, so I'm just gonna stamp that image once again. And that's the great thing about clear stamps, you can see right through the block and see exactly where you're stamping. Next, I'm going to stamp the rose or floral cluster using our Grand Fuchsia dye ink. Now this is kind of a layering stamp, but not your typical layering stamp because you're just going to be stamping the rose clusters into the empty areas of the leaf cluster. So I've stamped that twice, and now there are some open areas in the top portion of my stamped area, and I'm just going to fill those areas in with some of the individual foliage stamps from the same Rose Wonderland print set. I'm going to ink up my small stamp and wipe away some of the ink that got on the stem because I don't really want the stem portion of the image to get stamped out. I just want the leafy portions. So I'm just going to continue stamping in the empty spaces using the smaller leaf stamps. I'm also going to use this small trio of floral buds as well. And I'm just going to continue stamping into these open areas until I'm satisfied with the coverage that I've obtained with my stamping. Once my stamping is complete, I'm going to carefully remove the temporary masks, and what you have is this gorgeous stamped spread on the left side. And now I'll just stamp the right side of my spread using the same stamping technique. Next, I use our Sparklers Alpha stamp set to stamp out Super Bowl Sunday for next weekend. Super Bowl Sunday is kind of big with my family because it's just a really fun day to spend with each other. I like to cook, so we usually have some pretty good food for the day, and then my sister really loves eating food, and we really just like watching the funny commercials. So it's just a fun day overall. So back to the spread, I'm just applying some washi tape and cutting off any excess pieces with my craft knife. I use a thin black washi tape with some gold foil stars and then a black scallop washi tape for the bottom portion. Next, I took my Happy Planner punch and punched out some rectangles onto some sticker paper, and then I stamped some foliage images onto one side of each box using our Lofty Mint dye ink, which is a really pretty soft green ink, and I used it because I wanted something that wouldn't detract from that center portion of my page or spread. Once I figured out where I wanted these labels, I took the protective paper backing off and applied them, but then I had put one at the top left corner, but there was already a piece of sticker paper on there. So instead of using another sticker paper over that, I just stamped directly onto that rectangle using a homemade mask. Next, I used this label stamp from our Memories Flair Builder stamp set, and I stamped it onto some sticker paper and fussy cut the 3 labels out. I use the Orchid Crush for these labels because the Orchid Crush is in the same color family as the Grand Fuchsia, which I use to stamp the florals in the center. Next, I use one of these open banner stamps from our Memories Flair Builder, and I'm just going to stamp 3 onto my spread. I stamped 3 to create a visual triangle. I also stamped the word today in that first banner. Then there's this small dot stamp in the same Memories Flair Builder set, and I just stamped some bullet points in some of my boxes using our bright emerald dye ink. Then I took our Like a Boss stamp set and I used this sentiment, I make things. It's one of my favorite sentiments in this set, and I just stamped it in my Monday box because I usually host a scrapbooking workshop on Mondays, and that's why I usually like to use a crafty sentiment or a sticker for my Monday box. Next, I'm going to continue stamping some bullet points in some of my boxes. I also stamped some of the square speech bubbles, and I just stamped it today into one of them. Next, I stamped another sentiment in my Wednesday box, and this stamp is from our Hustle and Grind stamps. Then I wanted to demarcate the weekend, so what I did was I stamped Hello Weekend using the same Sparklers Alpha set. And now I'm just going to start writing in some of my plans. I want to go to the gym on Monday morning. I want to go to the gym regularly next week before Super Bowl Sunday to give myself some sort of margin, because that Sunday is going to be one of those days where you kind of don't think about what you're eating and the calories. So I'm going to try to get to the gym 3 times next week. I added my scrapbooking workshop on Monday, and now I am just writing in some of my mental reminders to prepare for Super Bowl Sunday. So I have to go grocery shopping in the beginning of the week to prepare all the appetizers and food. And I'm also planning on making a really nice baba ganoush, and it usually tastes better when you make it a day or 2 in advance. Now I'm just going to add this meal plan sticker, and there was something else on top that I just covered up with another sticker, and I just wrote in Super Bowl Sunday. And then in this same meal plan sticker book, I found these small stickers. I found a pickup sticker and a prep sticker, which I added to some of those Orchid Crush labels. Then I found a My Fave sticker from the same book, and I just added that for the Sunday because I do like cooking and I do like cooking appetizers, so that was pretty appropriate. Next, I found some really cute gold foiled hearts in the same sticker book, and I added them to the meal plan sticker. I actually covered up the days of the week with those gold foiled hearts because I wanted this to be more of a menu than any kind of meal plan for the week. Then I found this awesome sticker. It says "You only live once, lick the bowl," and it's so appropriate. And then lastly, I found a delicious gold foil sticker, which I just added to the top of that meal plan area or list. And my spread is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will be doing more of these plan with me videos because it's a great way to stretch your stamps, and I use my planner religiously because I am 3,000 times more productive when I use my planner, and I do use my planner more when it's pretty. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.